All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Mauricio Sulaiman states that Canelo Alvarez does not have to fight David Benavidez because Canelo Alvarez is basically the franchise champion until he retires. So, I'm going to break it down to y'all. Let's talk about it in this video. King Jr. got another video for y'all. Please sure that you like and subscribe to the channel, and also share the video to get all your latest boxing news. And remember to hit that bell icon to always be notified when I release this boxing news coming up. With that being said, it looks like that Mauricio Sulaiman basically stated that Canelo Alvarez doesn't have to fight David Benavidez because he's franchised and so on and so forth. And I think it's, to me, to be honest with you, I think it's ridiculous at this point. I don't know why are these Canelo want to be in the spotlight type of people want to be around Canelo Alvarez so much, like Mauricio Sulaiman, who could be on the super duper hype train of Canelo Alvarez, always looking every second, always stalking him through his window. And it was funny to me. I knew he was going to come out with some bull crap like this, and that's not Canelo Alvarez's decision to make. If Canelo Alvarez wants to fight Benavidez, he may do fight Benavidez, but according to Mauricio Sulaiman, that's just an option for him. He doesn't have to fight David Benavidez because he's franchised. But this one, it gets tricky though, because David Benavidez is the mandatory position to fight for Canelo Alvarez WBC belt, but by Canelo Alvarez being franchise belt, Canelo doesn't have to fight David Benavidez. And we all heard on record that Canelo Alvarez stated that he's not going to fight David Benavidez because he doesn't want to fight any more Mexican type of fighters. I don't understand the situation there. A lot of people feel like that Canelo Alvarez needs to step up in competition. I'm one of those people that I feel like that Canelo Alvarez can beat all these guys, in my opinion. That's just my opinion on the whole situation. But it's time to start cracking down. It's time to start fighting these guys. You cannot let your bull crap trainer get in the way of the big fights that you want. And you cannot let Mauricio Sulaiman make another belt for you and ruin your greatness and legacy, in my opinion. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So Canelo Alvarez, we know he fought Demetrius Bivol at 175 pounds and lost. And we know that was his first attempt at 175. He did fight Sergey Kovalev and knocked out Sergey Kovalev. But remember, if you guys didn't know, that Sergey Kovalev did not have a full camp. He was on basically 2 weeks notice of that fight. And he did not look his absolutely best, for the people that don't know. But a lot of people, well, Canelo Alvarez team and Canelo Alvarez himself made up the excuse where that they thought that Dimitri Bivol, he was just too stocky, too big. But if you guys go back and look at the picture and the weigh-in and the face-off, whatever the case may be, Dimitri Bivol doesn't look no bigger than Canelo Alvarez. Dimitri Bivol might be a solid 5'11" and 6 foot tall, but he's not the tallest light heavyweight in the world. But Sergey Kovalev, who was taller than Canelo Alvarez, damn near Callum Smith, who's like what, 6'6", 6'7", who's definitely taller than Canelo Alvarez. So we can't sit here and make up excuses on why you lost to Dimitri Bivol. And like I said before, it was a smart move for him to go back down to 168. Even though we don't want to see a fight, as a true boxing fan like me, I don't want to see Canelo versus Triple G because I already know how this outcome's going to be. Triple G's too old. He lost a lot of his abilities. He's going to be looking in there to survive. He's not going to be looking to bang with Canelo Alvarez. And I think Canelo Alvarez could potentially get him out in the championship rounds this time. I think he could knock him out or stop Triple G, because Triple G showed me that he can't be hit not pretty good towards the body. So if you hit Triple G towards the body, you're clearly wearing him down. And when he fought Murata was tagging to the body, and I don't understand why Murata was not trying to utilize the body attack more, because that was starting to affect Triple G. But the fundamentals of Triple G got him out of that fight, and what he knocked out Murata in the 10th, 11th round, some case may be. I actually saw that fight. It was like 5 or 7 in the morning, whatever the case may be. But Canelo Alvarez should be successful against Triple G. If some people ask me, what if Canelo Alvarez isn't successful against Triple G? This would be very bad for his career, because there's going to be a lot of people saying, how do you lose against a 40-year-old man? And his career is going to go downhill if he loses to Triple G. I'm not saying it's going to be over, but his career is going to take a major turn for the worse. And a lot of people feel like that Canelo Alvarez, if he's successful against Triple G, he's going to rematch Dimitri Bivol. I feel like he shouldn't rematch Dimitri Bivol if you're not going to make the proper adjustments. He needs another trainer. I spoke highly on this. I think he should fire Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso is not a good trainer. He's actually a horrible trainer, in my opinion. He didn't make no adjustments for Oscar Valdez against Shakur Stevenson, and he absolutely didn't give Canelo Alvarez no adjustments to make against Dimitri Bivol. I fully blame 1,000% Eddie Reynoso training, and I just clearly think he's an overrated damn trainer, and he's not good at all, whatever the case may be. So if I was Canelo Alvarez, I would not fight Dimitri Bivol, because if you don't have the proper trainer to make the certain adjustments that you need to win the fight and have a game plan to meet Dimitri Bivol, you're basically taking another ass whooping, if you're not going to make any adjustments. So a lot of people feel like that Canelo Alvarez will not be able to beat this guy who has a new name, David the Mexican Monster Benavidez. I'm just saying that for the first time. So David Benavidez is a relentless guy, straightforward, come fighter, hell of a gas tank, throw a lot of punches, like to utilize the jab a lot. A lot of people feel like that David Benavidez would be much better if he utilized more footwork and focus on his boxing ability. But why fix something if it ain't broken? So David Benavidez has called out Canelo Alvarez, Jamal Charlo, and all the other guys. And a lot of people feel like that Canelo Alvarez didn't want any smoke with David Benavidez. I'm just stating what's going on. So there was a thing where Canelo Alvarez petitioned for the WBC belt. 32 board members petitioned that he should fight Avi Yilmaz for the vacant WBC belt, if I'm not correct. We know that David Benavidez lost the belt due to recreational use, and he lost the belt during the early pandemic on the scale, weighing over 5 pounds of weight. And now David Benavidez has got himself back into the mandatory position to win that WBC belt. But since Mauricio Sulaiman had came out and stated that David Benavidez will not be able to fight Canelo Alvarez due to Canelo Alvarez franchise belt, so it will be optional for Canelo Alvarez to fight David Benavidez. But we know that Canelo Alvarez is on record stating that he will not fight no more Mexican fighters. I don't understand that, but that's Canelo Alvarez at the end of the day. Like Mauricio Sulaiman says, Canelo Alvarez has built himself up in a point of his career. He could do whatever he wants. He doesn't need control of the people or whatever the case may be. He's Canelo Alvarez. He can do whatever he wants, according to Mauricio Sulaiman. I think it's kind of bogus. I think Mauricio Sulaiman is a professional Canelo's little puppet. I think that he stalks Canelo every night. I think he favors Canelo, dreaming about Canelo every night. He's just Canelo's super fanboy. He's going to do whatever it takes to take up for Canelo. And this is what happens. Canelo Alvarez is a great fighter, but when you got people in your ear left or right, you're going to make certain moves. And it's the reason why Canelo Alvarez is making all these moves, because horrible trainer Eddie Reynoso and corrupt Sulaiman. And, with the David Benavidez situation, I told in my last video, Canelo Alvarez needs to try to get this kid out of here, because David Benavidez is looked as the next Mexican superstar in the sport of boxing, in my opinion. He's looked as the big superstar because he's calling out everybody. He wants all the smoke. And David Benavidez is on the way in, and Canelo Alvarez could be on the way out, whatever the case may be. And eventually, the Mexican fan base that rides with David Benavidez is going to start calling for that Canelo Alvarez fight. And I don't know why Canelo Alvarez don't want any part of David Benavidez, because he says he doesn't want to fight Mexican fighters. But it's got to be something else behind the scenes that we don't know about why he doesn't want to fight David Benavidez. But I'll let you guys have your speculation on that. on why he doesn't want to fight David Benavidez. I feel like that David Benavidez has earned his right to get his chance to fight for that WBC belt. But if they're going to petition for franchise and not want no parts of David Benavidez, that is a duck, because David Benavidez is the mandatory for the belt. But you got Mauricio Sulaiman coming out here saying that Canelo Alvarez doesn't have to fight David Benavidez due to franchise. So this is Canelo Alvarez's chance to make a fight with David Benavidez. But Canelo Alvarez says he doesn't want to fight Mexican fighters. So do you want to smoke with Benavidez or not? Just come on and say it, and we can have the truth revealed. But all that matters is just speculation at the end of the day. I think Canelo Alvarez is a damn great fighter, but he's going to have to prove himself that these guys is looking to take him out, and they're going to start calling for him more and more and more. And you better not lose to Triple G. That's all I gotta say. You lose to Triple G, your career is going to take a turn for the worse. Because when you lost to Floyd Mayweather, basically that was a learning lesson. Everybody said you was too green at that time. But now, since you got older, you lost to Dimitri Bivol. You should have never lost to a fighter within Dimitri Bivol. But due to the style and not making any adjustments to the style against a trainer that has no good whatsoever, Reynoso's just there to drink water. And you know what's funny about him is when Canelo Alvarez was in like the later rounds, he was sitting there drinking water. Why are you drinking water for? Are you in the ring banging it out? So make that make sense. So with that being said, guys, it looks like Mauricio Sulaiman is taking up for Canelo Alvarez because he says that Canelo Alvarez does not have to fight David Benavidez, even though David Benavidez worked his way up to get to a man's position to fight Canelo Alvarez. Make that make sense, and we're going to see how all this plays out. So with that being said, guys, it is what it is. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. This is your boy King Jr. I'm out of here. Peace.